Shalom, shalom from Tiberias. Yes, we have made the move. It has been incredibly difficult. There's been a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours, and there's still boxes and rubbish. I mean stuff, not rubbish, but just clutter and clothing and trying to find a wardrobe that will actually take everything. Yeah.
Before the kids pull it out everywhere.
But we needed to get this update out, so it's been like 6 weeks since we released a video to you guys, and
Sorry.
so where we left off last time, we started working at ICEJ, Aliyah Return Centre, and of course there's the Jerusalem Journal. So let's update. Some of you will have noticed that the Jerusalem Journal articles have stopped being written at about the same time we released our last video, and that's been Brian is the editor-in-chief. He's the writer, and he's got some difficult personal stuff going on, difficult personal situations in his life right now, and that has taken him away from being able to write these articles. Now, without content, there was very little for me to continue with. We've tried to work through that with Brian, but it looks like as that's tailored off, the demands at ICEJ have increased. They've asked, and it's been a real honour to invited me to stay on, and even invited me to do more work. So
as with everything, it's been incredible with just God's timing with everything. As this was happening with Brian, increase with Jerusalem Journal and us preparing for our move to Tiberias, which also with the Jerusalem Journal. What did I say?
You said increase with
Jerusalem Journal. Sorry, it's bedtime. It's taken us up here, and as it's tailored off with the Jerusalem Journal, it's released James to be able to really spend more time doing media for the Aliyah Return Centre.
And organisational HR systems and stuff for ICEJ, which they are really appreciating, which is nice. And of course, it's an honour to be, invited to stay longer. So that's cool. And I'll be working remotely, continuing with ICEJ, doing a lot of cloud-based stuff.
And going to Jerusalem occasionally.
Yeah, to help out with that. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
In fact, I actually recorded a few clips from a couple of weeks ago, and I want to share them with you. So check this out. It's Friday morning at the Christian Embassy. This is where I work. Yes, looks like a palace. It's absolutely amazing. All the offices and all the work goes on inside. I'm going to take you this morning to interview the Vice President of Operations, Barry Dennison, and we'll also get to interview, just quickly, Ewan Mueller, who is the President of the ICEJ. These guys have taken some time to share with us a little bit this morning about what the ICEJ does and what it's all about. Barry, firstly, thank you very much for having me this morning, and thank you for having me here at the embassy. Being a Kiwi, New Zealander, from the far corner of the earth, it's an honour and a privilege to be here serving.
Well, of our team of 40, we're from now with a Kiwi on board, 16 nations, and we're thrilled to have you as a part of the team.
Great, thank you. And there's a lot going on in the embassy. There's a lot of work, and being here, I've got to see and experience, some of these things. But you've just returned from Ethiopia,
yes,
just 2 days ago. Tell us about what ICEJ is doing with this project.
We're working in conjunction with the Jewish Agency to help the Ethiopian Jews return to Israel. There have been 2 previous waves of Ethiopian immigrants coming to Israel. There's already about 40,000 Ethiopian Jews in Israel. There's about 9,000 that remain in Ethiopia. And it's interesting because in Isaiah 43:6 it talks about the Lord saying, "And to the south do not hold them back." And it's as if the Lord starts a wave and then something closes a door, and the Lord has to once again say, "Don't hold them back." And there's a new wave beginning. In October, about 70 arrived. There's a flight of 72 that will be coming in these next few days. We're still waiting on the date of the flight. We had the privilege of meeting 4 of these families, interviewing them, hearing their story. it's very sad because they all moved from their villages into the cities to wait to come to Israel. And as one lady said, she's been waiting 16 years.
16 years.
Her family left 16 years ago. And for whatever reason, as a teenager, she was unable to get there in time or didn't have the documentation. Now she's a married woman, she has 2 children. And so all 4 of them are on this next flight coming.
Cool.
So we're excited to help them and to be a part of this process.
So Christians around the world are feeding into their national offices, you know, and they're supporting and they're fundraising to support ICEJ and its work, and that's directly going to things like Aliyah from Ethiopia.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there's something special that you told me about this, and that's that they call themselves something in this. In Ethiopia.
Yeah, it was interesting. When we first got there, we heard the guide, and he's non-Jewish, but he was just talking about the history of the Jewish community. He called them Beit Israel, which would be House of Israel. That's unnatural. You're the House of Israel in a different country. But later on, when I actually talked with the people of the Jewish agency, they're like, no, it's Beit Israel. Means going home to Israel. So for thousands of years, their name and the name of the non-Jews for them are those going home to Israel. That's their identity. They're waiting to go home to Israel.
And that's what they've called themselves for so long. And this Jewish community in Ethiopia have been very cut off from the rest of world Jewry for a long time.
Yeah, it's interesting. They got their first contact with world Jewry after several thousand years in the 1950s. When they heard that Israel was reborn as a nation, several men walked from Ethiopia through Sudan, through Egypt, through the Sinai into Israel. Renewed contact. And the modern Judaism was able to say, you've been separated for almost 2,000 years because of the kosher laws they kept and the new kosher laws that have been added to them.
Wow.
They've been cut off from Israel probably from the time of the destruction of Jerusalem in 135 AD. As they say, about 200 years from the time of Jesus.
That's amazing. And you've just been there recently and you've seen them practicing in their synagogues and their ancient practices and how they honor the Torah and what they do. And it's pretty impacting. You've got a documentary coming out too soon, so we're going to be able to see more about that.
Be able to see the full 30-minute documentary, hopefully in the coming months.
Awesome. Great work by ICEJ. Once again, Barry, it is awesome to be here representing New Zealand and to be serving with you
great.
guys.
Glad to have you on the team.
Thank you. Ewan, thank you for your time this morning. Firstly, let me say it's an honour and a privilege to be here as a New Zealander from the far corner of the earth, serving at the Christian Embassy in Jerusalem.
Well, James, it's a joy to talk to you, but most importantly, it's a joy for us to have you on our staff, because it's very meaningful for many Israelis if they hear there are people from literally the ends of the world, and that's what New Zealand is for Israelis. You can't travel much further, and that you are coming here to support Israel, that's very special.
Thank you. Yeah. You in New Zealand in December, there was an issue with Resolution 2334. It was actually New Zealand on the Security Council that led that, and there's a lot of upset New Zealanders about that at the time. New Zealanders and people came to me because I'm here in Israel. How do we voice our support? How do we voice our support and show? At the time, I didn't have an answer, but seeing how the embassy operates here now in Jerusalem firsthand. I see an opportunity for Christians in the embassy as a voice.
Well, I truly believe that the Christian embassy is an ideal channel where people could voice and channel their support to Israel. We are working not only here in Jerusalem, which is a huge advantage that our headquarters is right here where everything happens, but also we have branches in over 19 nations around the world. So for example, just a few weeks ago when UNESCO passed another resolution that was very anti-Israel, not recognizing the Jewishness of the historical sites here in the land, we mobilized thousands and thousands of Christians in many countries around the world, and we could go with one big voice and say these are Christians from all over the world. They are concerned about what is happening right now, and of course if we could add to that a powerful New Zealand voice, that would be a huge blessing for us, but most importantly for the nation of Israel. So in many ways I think there's a huge advantage where it's a synergy where it comes together, where many voices do not multiply just 1 + 1 equals 2, but if you have many voices, it actually exponentiates out the magnitude of that.
Yeah, and the word that really stands out to me there is unity, you know, and that's a function and a result of the embassy being here. So that's wonderful. It's wonderful work. And it's not just political, and this is something that I've really opened my eyes to as well, being here in the last 2 months I've been serving, and it's more than political. There's all of these other things going on. Can you tell me these humanitarian works that are going on in the land, how you're blessing Israel?
Yeah, to be honest, we are not a political organization, even if we voice our opinion sometimes also in the political arena. But we are a spiritual ministry here in the land of Israel that wants to show another face of Jesus to the Jewish people. And the way how we do this is in so many different ways. We support them, yes, politically, but we have works among Holocaust survivors. Right now, just this morning, we got a report of a team that just came back from Ethiopia, helping Ethiopian Jews to come back to the land of Israel. We are down in Tel Aviv with the prostitutes, having a very practical hands-on work, getting people out of addictions and out of a very sinful lifestyle. And we try to be in every segment of Israeli society present to show them the love of Christ. And most importantly also, we are a prayer ministry. We are mobilizing prayer from all around the world, even nations where we cannot have a branch like Saudi Arabia or like the Arab Emirates. We have Christians praying with us every day on behalf of Israel. So it's a huge global prayer army that is mobilizing to stand with Israel also in prayer.
Yes, amen. And it's awesome. I've seen it firsthand. I've been here experiencing this, being involved with the prayer meetings, and being a bit of a businessman previously myself, you know, I've kind of been, am I leaving my work to go and pray in the middle of the day with the entire staff here? And it was impacting, and I felt the Spirit move, and it's powerful, and again, it's been great to be a part of it. I look forward to continuing with you. And New Zealanders, we have a national director, Derek, in Auckland.
Absolutely,
and,
yes.
And so they can channel their communications to Derek, and that will ultimately end up with you.
Absolutely, and also, you know, we have every year the Feast of Tabernacles, which is the largest Christian conference. It's the largest tourist event in any case here in the land of Israel, where thousands of Christians from all over the world are coming to worship the Lord here in Jerusalem, to show their support to the Jewish people. There is a march through Jerusalem during the feast with thousands of Christians marching. And it's a unique experience. People sometimes tell me, you know, it really feels like heaven if you are together in one room with people from New Zealand and Papua New Guinea and Fiji and Africa, Latin America, Europe, all over the world. They come together right here in Jerusalem to love God, to worship God. It's an experience that's very unique. This year is very special. We are celebrating 50 years of a united Jerusalem. So this would be an incredible blessing to have a huge New Zealand delegation coming here.
Come on, New Zealanders.
Yes.
Let's see you at the Feast of Tabernacles this year.
Amen.
Thank you for your time, Ewan. Appreciate it.
James, thanks so much.
Okay. So that was Barry and Ewan from the ICEJ. True gentlemen there, and an honour to be serving with them.
I don't know if you guys are all familiar with ICEJ, but if you're not, check out their website. It's an amazing ministry.
Yes, I'll put a link on this email to the Feast of Tabernacles video.
ICEJ stands for International Christian Embassy in Jerusalem, if you're not aware of that.
It's a wonderful ministry, and the more I've got to know them and what they do, the more I've realised really what an incredible work in the land that is. So 2 thumbs up for the ICEJ. Next week we're going to give you a video on the Aliyah Return Centre, Tiberias, show you a few sites around this, and see what's happening on this kibbutz project. Now, if you're on Facebook, you will see the updates coming through the Aliyah Return Centre Facebook page. I'm sharing them on my Facebook page and also on our Israel Kiwi page. So if you're anywhere connected on any of those on Facebook, you'll see what we're up to. We'll give you another update on that
Put the
stuff.
link to the Aliyah Return Centre as well.
Yep, we will. We'll get a link to the Aliyah Return Centre video. Of course, I'm making the media for them at the moment, which is fun. Enjoying that.
Alongside another guy.
Yeah, Russ Crittenden there. Me and Russ are the media team, doing the goods.
Yeah, and the kids are all good. Just really quickly, I know lots of people ask about how they're doing. They've adapted. That, you know, kids are so adaptable to change. I think it's been a lot more emotional for me, saying goodbye to friends, close friends in Jerusalem. But it's only a 2.5 hour drive, and actually we've got friends coming to spend the weekend with us this weekend, so that's really exciting. I'm going to see another friend next week from Jerusalem. They're coming up for the day. So that all helps, and you know, we're making new friends here in Tiberias, so just would love prayer for friends for the kids specifically. We had a lovely little homeschool group in Jerusalem, and so I would just really love to see that again in Tiberias, specifically for Izzy, who's 5.5. And yeah, Ruben's growing and great, and possibly got a black eye today.
Yeah, he whacked himself on the playground equipment just before bed, so I think he might wake up with a shiner.
But he's he likes stomping and being tigers and lions and little boy things. Yeah. And Lucy's great. They're all great. They're all healthy, yay, and yeah. Loving exploring their new house and pulling out stuff from boxes. So that's us for this update, and yeah, we'll see you again next week.
God bless from Tiberias to Galilee.